experiences and things, but the people that are able to actually experience life, regular life, not combat, they realize that everything's the same, just in a different way, right? And I love Russell Brand. He has, when he said this one time, it was just so funny because like it really is. It's like immigrants are just people that used to be somewhere else.
Yeah,
they're just people that just traveled from one area to another area. That's the only difference from those people to the people here in essence, you know?
Right.
I always see it because here in the U.S., everybody gets so bent out of shape when there's an influx of immigrants of some kind, right?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, the first generation is going to be way different than probably the local, generation. But after one generation,
you start assimilating.
Yeah, and it's the same thing. I go if you go to like a store and there's the owner is from another country or something like that. Yeah, he's gonna have maybe a different attitude that you're used to, different way of talking to you. But then here comes his 16-year-old son, and he's like, "What's up, dude? What do you need?" Right. So it's not like all of a sudden everything you believe in, everything's gonna go away. It's just gonna be slightly different and with the same stuff. And
that goes to that conversation of people that say, if you're in America, you should speak English. And you know what? If they don't want to learn English and they're living here, that's fine. It's their loss, not ours. If they're not going to be able to communicate with someone else that speaks English,
right,
they're going to have a hard time.
Right.
But I'm with my job, I come across people that don't speak any English, and I have to communicate with them. And there's technology that can help me, like a translator, communicate with them. And and it's tough, but
it says a lot about a country that will allow people to be who they want to be.
Yeah.
I think that if you look about like the dream of America, it's that someone can be who they want to be and nobody's going to be like, no, you have to change. And what gives you the right to tell another person who they should be? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I still haven't figured that one out. Like, just because you came out of your mom or, you came out of your mom in a certain plot of land with imaginary borders that don't even exist.
Right.
That gives you a certain right over someone else. That to say, no, you should dress this way, you should speak this way, you should blah, 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 because I'm a real American. Yeah. I came out of my mom's uterus on this land.
Which her uterus is red, white, and blue. And I think we can't top that right now. Let's go take a break. And when we come back, do trivia and continue this conversation. Rico and I are having a great time making this podcast.
And we want to keep doing this.
So please, subscribe to our channel.
Get the word out.
And let others know about us.
Now, back to our show. We're back.
Yes, we're back. And
all right.
I'm going to report I did try the bread and the spices, and it was effing delicious.
All right. Good review.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to do some trivia. You ready?
I am ready.
We're going to do something a little bit different this time. And here are the rules.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to read you a quote. You have to determine, one, if it's a Republican or a Democrat that said it. So you have two choices.
Okay.
All right. So I went from impossible trivia to you now have a 50-50 shot.
Okay.
Now, here's the bonus. If you could tell me who said it, I mean, this is really hard. So you get 1 point for the Democrat or Republican, and you get 5 points for if you could tell me who said it. So anybody else playing out there, let me know what points you got, because I want to know.
Okay.
All right, number 1. Who said immigration is not just a link to America's past, it's also a bridge to America's future? Was it a Republican or a Democrat?
I can see an old school Republican saying this.
Okay.
But if we're talking about modern times, it's more unlikely.
I want to say that everybody here is an American who said these quotes, and I pulled it from history. So don't think about was it yesterday?
Okay.
Or was it 100 years ago?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna go that you're tricking me, and I think I've heard this from Republicans in the past where it wasn't like it is now.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go Republican.
Okay. Any guess on who you think it might be?
It could be. I mean, honestly, it could be any Republican before 1985. Okay. I'm gonna go with,
which is a good point about another podcast. today's Republican Party versus the original Republican Party, it's changed over time. So
and so has the Democrat. Like,
yeah.
Like people pull stuff from Democrats from like 1950. They're like, see, there were Nazis. Like,
yeah. So we're gonna pen that for another time.
Yeah,
All right. So
okay.
all right. So you say Republican, and make a guess.
Okay.
And everybody, by the way, everyone.
Ronald Reagan.
Okay, good. I was gonna say everybody that I pulled out is somebody popular. I didn't get like some.
Yeah.
You know. All right. So the answer was George W. Bush.
See, I knew it. I got half of it right?
Yeah, you got the 1 point.
Right. Yeah, no, I thought it might have been Bush, too. It was up there.
Yeah.
I mean, like I'm telling you, but it... Okay.
Yeah,
like,
no.
What we say is different than what policies have been, but yeah.
Yeah, there's
what you
definitely
say, what you say sometimes to appease the masses is different than what you do. All right.
Number 2. Mr. Speaker, our nation depends on immigration's labor, and I hope we can create an immigration system as dependable as they are.
Okay. Hillary Clinton.
Okay. And the answer was Luis Gutierrez. He's from the House of Representatives.
Republican?
Yeah, he's a Democrat.
Oh, Democrat. Okay.
Democrat from Illinois.
Okay. So I got Democrat right. I said Hillary Clinton. So I was.
I should. You're right.
Okay.
Yeah, you were on the right page. Okay. Number 3. Is it a Democrat or Republican? Remember always that all of us.
5th of November.
Remember always that all of us, you and I especially, are descended from immigrants and revolutionists.
JFK.
Democrat JFK. The answer was Franklin Delano Roosevelt. So it is Democrat.
Okay, so I got half of it right.
Yeah, you got the 1 point. Yeah, I mean the other part's really hard. I mean, I don't expect you to get to do.
They're all hard because everybody can say whatever.
But you got it right.
Okay.
Number 4. We are a nation of immigrants. We are the children and the grandchildren and the great-grandchildren of the ones who wanted a better life, the driven ones, the ones who woke up at night hearing that voice telling them that the life in that place called America could be better.
This was a Republican, a very, very famous Republican called Abraham Lincoln.
All right, let's see. It was actually Republican Mitt Romney. All right.
I got it right.
You get the Republican. But there you go. You talk about the Republican Party, how it's changed.
Yeah, of course.
All right, next. You did really well with the guessing the Democrat Republican.
Yeah, that was all guesses. I have no idea who. Like it was anybody's guess on that one.
Yeah. All right. Next, I think it's number 5. A nation that cannot control its borders is not a nation.
That was Donald Trump.
That was actually Ronald Reagan.
I got it right. Oh wait, yeah, I got it right again.
Yeah,
He's
you're
a
Republican. Yeah,
I'm spot on.
Yeah. All right. So
how many of these are there?
There's 8.
Oh Jesus. Okay.
Number 6. I take issue with many people's description of people being illegal immigrants.
Democrat.
There aren't any illegal human beings as far as I'm concerned.
Democrat.
And the answer is Democrat Dennis Kucinich from the House of Representatives from Ohio.
I was going to say Jorge Ramos from Telemundo.
All right. Number 7. I want good people to come here from all over the world, but I want them to do so legally. We can expedite the process. We can reward achievement and excellence, but we have to respect the legal process.
Republican.
Any guess?
Donald Trump.
The answer is Donald Trump.
I remember this.
You got 5 points. So you got the 5 points for the knowing it, plus you've gotten 7 points, I think. You have to go back, but I think you got
What
7
can
points.
I collect with all my points earned?
Respect.
Oh.
My respect.
I don't want to be respected.
Don't cash them in yet, because we got number 8.
Jeez, okay, I thought I was done.
One more.
Okay, do it.
Number 8. There's nothing good about diversity other than the food, and we don't need 128 million Mexicans for the restaurants.
Oh, God. This is the worst quote I've ever heard. No, there's worse.
Yeah.
I can tell you the worst one I've heard so far, but this is a Republican, and his name is I don't know.
You were right about the Republican.
Ann Coulter.
It's Ann Coulter. All right. And
God damn, you suck, Ann Coulter. What the heck?
Yeah, let's read that quote again.
Yeah, one more time so it sinks in.
There's nothing good about diversity other than the food, and we don't need 128 million Mexicans for the restaurants. Let's pick that apart. First, let's talk about the fact that 128 Mexicans, what are they good for?
Yeah, 128 million Mexicans just, they work at restaurants.
Restaurants. Right. All right. Well, all right. Yeah, the food. They come in, they bring their Mexican restaurants. That's all they do.
They do, yeah.
And the other half, there's nothing good about diversity.
Can I throw something in here that I've always felt that is I don't want to talk about converting people's minds other than like when I was growing up, people would call me Mexican.
Yeah.
Don't happen to be from Mexico. And I remember people using it as a
Negative connotation. Yeah.
And I would say, okay, right? I know a lot of Mexican people. I have many Mexican friends. And I made it a point never to look offended.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you make it where you're offended by what they're saying, you're giving them power.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'd say, like, okay, you're calling me a Mexican. So what? That's a nation just like where I come from. And I feel a lot of affinity to that culture because it's very close to mine in many ways.
Yeah.
So I think that it's very important for like minorities to understand that you can't give power to people like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you can be mad. I can understand, but don't give them that power to make it seem like they're using something and they give it a dirty meaning. You know what I mean? So whenever it's like, what? Okay, I'm Mexican. I'm not insulted by that. You know what I mean? Like, and I think that we have to make a point of that as Hispanic people. You know, like,
yeah.
If you insult one of us, I'm going to go back to what I said. The worst quote. If you insult one of us, you insult all of us. That's when Donald Trump was talking about they're rapists and this and this and some are good people. I was like deeply offended by those comments, and I think you should be too. Everybody should be offended by those comments because it's so just throwing dirt on a whole group of people.
I really understand because when I grew up, the race that everybody that was negative was Polish.
Right.
Like that was the one that everyone made fun of.
Oh yeah.
And my family, they came from the United States and they lived in the Poland-Russian area. I mean, I come from that area, and they escaped because they were being slaughtered. There were people going into these towns. So I heard a story from one of my great-grandfather.
Right.
And they were coming in and they were taking the boys and they were using them to check for landmines. So they were sending these boys into these fields to check to see if it was a landmine. And the way they would do it is walk. So if you found a landmine, you were blown up.
Right.
So my grandfather and the family and other families as well escaped to the forest.
Mm-hmm.
And they were living there for many years until finally the Germans, the Russians, like they were all looking for these Jewish people, and they finally found them. And my grandfather got shot in the back, and got up and kept running.
Oh my God!
And he was lucky enough to come to America.
Right.
Other family members didn't come to America; they had to go to South America, which isn't a bad thing because they're still in a better place than they were.
Right.
And and I'm growing up, and I'm hearing these things about how all Polish people are stupid and all these negative things, and it's like
we give it that power too. You know what I mean? Like we have to take the power back, like from words and things, and like if you were you're like Polak, blah blah blah, like the feeling insulted and things like that. It's not gonna. You know what I mean? Like, just take the power back from it. Like, I'm not insulted by your weak attempt to like demean my people. And it's I think that that's what I was saying earlier. Don't resort to the name calling. Don't just stand proud and use your logic and use your reasoning to knock every peg down. Because at the end of the day, if I don't get in the Facebook matches anymore, but if you ever saw like me in the Facebook matches, it's just taking the rung out of the ladder where they're sitting high up on their horse,
right?
And not insulting, not even like treating nicely, talking them in a way, but is not allowing their insults and their things to bring you to their level. You know what I mean? Like, and that's
yeah.
That's one way to
It's a very adult way to look at it. And I know you and I have had this conversation. I learned an eye-opening idea at the weirdest place